Hello and welcome to week 2 in the psychology of personality. And here we are looking at chapter 2, culture and personality. And I hope you recognize by this time, just looking at the class, that almost just the focus of this class is really looking at not only our personality theories that exist out there, but also the influence of culture and circumstances on our personality development. So, major part of this class. So when we look at culture, we're really borrowing from the field of sociology, defining culture in both material and non-material ways. This comes from my sociology class. So material culture is the stuff that we have, the technology, the fact that we live in square houses built out of wood, that we drive cars, that we have cell phones, that we have computers, that we have desks, and all the things that we possess, the kind of clothing that we have, and all the influences that have on our social interactions. Then there's that whole set of what we would refer to as non-material culture, that in my own understanding I've come to call that norms, values, and expectations. So these are things that we learn about what is normal, what's important, and the priority of those importances, and then expectations for interacting in the world. So these rules about the way the world works that we learn, we're not born with this, specific to the culture in which we're born, and we are socialized, that is the actual sociological term for the teaching of culture from one generation to the other, whether it's aspects of our values, norms, and expectations, or if it's how to use the remote on the TV, reflecting our technology, and how to write, how to use the phone, those kind of things. All of that is under socialization, and the characters that play a role in socializing are the individuals that we have at any given point on our Looking Glass Self Committee. So this all connects. So we have these sociological aspects of culture, norms, values, expectations, and material culture being socialized, this creating significant aspects of our personality and our behavior by individuals who reside at the time on our Looking Glass Self Committee, the committee that we refer to in our mind, the Looking Glass theory, saying that we look in the mirror, we evaluate who we are and how good we are at something, and we compare it to what we think those people think. This can be very functional and it can be very dysfunctional. If you have a person who was never going to please on that committee, it's time to fire that person from your committee, which is easier said than done. Okay, so we have that component right there, culture. Then we have specific aspects of culture and what we have learned about those and kind of dissecting those. And we're looking at age, gender, social status, social roles, ascribed versus achieved status, status symbols, and social investment. These are topics from this particular chapter. So, in the discussion, I'm asking you to reflect upon the list that I just gave you. Age, gender, social status, social roles, ascribed and achieved status versus achieved status, status symbol, social investment, race, it's meant to put that in there, socioeconomic status, any one of those. Pick that and reflect with each other, share about how that influenced you. Changes in your age, your gender, your sex, socioeconomic status, all that. How did that affect you? And sharing that idea. How did that affect your personality? And chapter 2 quiz, how did the norms, values, and expectation change your personality? How did they affect us? So I'm asking you on a one-to-one basis through the quiz to reflect on that culture, the norms, what is considered normal in your culture, what you think is important, and your expectations for others' behavior and your interactions with them. So what did you learn from that family of origin that shaped a big part of your personality? So I'll give you an example. And when I give you an example, that means you can't use it. So I'm going to steal a good one, work ethic. So probably all learned about the value of work, good or bad, good work ethic or bad. We learned that pretty early on. And then those influences from our Looking Glass Self Committee at the time really embedded an idea about the value of work. Tell me about it. Tell me about how that norm, value, and expectation for work influence your life. Now, you can't use that anymore. So none of you, I just took the biggest one away. So you're going to have to pick something else, maybe education, maybe relationships, maybe how to handle money, maybe physical possessions, maybe the sense of self, maybe how you care for others, maybe how you care for animals, the importance of religion. Any one of those things all fits within this ability to analyze it in this quiz. And then finally, we look at the assignment, and what I'm asking you to do is to look at the your organizational chart, the positions in society that you possess. So probably I'm going to show you mine. It's in the course book. It's a link. Let's get to it here. Way at the end. Whoops, I was looking at the wrong course book. I was looking at adult development. By the way, I'm going to post an announcement about this, but for those of you who are listening to this video who are also in my adult development class, at the end of the video, I went on and on about the autoethnography. That's actually for the personality class. So I got a little astray on that. I'll be posting that actually is not part of that class. It's part of this class. All of these factors that we talked about here are going to end up in that autoethnography. The special assignment in the aging in the adulthood class is successful aging. Doesn't cover those topics. So an apology while we're waiting for me to find my graphic here. So chapter 2, the assignment. So let me put this up for you. The last page of the description of this week's assignment, we have an example. So take this example. We're going to open that up in Safari, and there it is. So there's my social structure. There's me at the top. There's my role as an athlete, work, husband, stepfather, musician, extended family. You know, and you'll see father again over on the right-hand side here, and the individuals that are there, and connections to the different aspects of my being. And so I then describe those a little bit here. So I'm looking for you to kind of replicate this sort of thing. This is an assignment that could very easily be done in PowerPoint or Keynote. They have really good chart making things like this, and then you can use subsequent slides to do descriptions. That'd be a great way of doing that, and you can submit that as either submit the PowerPoint or Keynote, because I have a Mac, or convert it to a PDF and submit it like that. So that's our fun for this week. So we're looking at how did age, gender, race, social status, social roles, achieved and ascribed status, how did that shape your, potentially impact your personality? That's for the discussion. Norms, values, and expectations that you learned early on from your Looking Glass Self Committee at the time, how did those affect you? And then the assignment, the organizational chart. I did want to throw out a little bit of a warning that next week there's 2 chapters that we're covering next week. So get ahead on that reading. I think altogether there's the same number of assignments per se than any given week, but it does cover different, two different chapters. The first one on Freud, and then the next one on Adler and Harry Stack Sullivan. So we'll be actually going into some of the older theories of personality in there. So wonderful. I will see you online. Looking forward to that rich discussion of all these sociological influences on our personality before we dive into the theories. So look forward to seeing you there. Have a great week and take care.